I have discovered a dictator in my body that doesn't know me at all. He's like, oh, yeah, this is a great time. And they're like, are you sure? And he's like, oh, absolutely. There's nothing else that could be more important than him sitting down and taking a shit right now. Like, are you sure that this is the leading lunatic in my body getting questioned by his labor? And they're just not sure if this seems like, maybe a poor time. Maybe I'm in the middle of something. Maybe I'm getting ready to speak with somebody. Maybe I'm in the car. Maybe I'm on a trip. Maybe there's something that's easily more important than this right now. And he's like, nah, I can't think of anything more important than him sitting in the bathroom alone and mindlessly scrolling through his phone. He's like, for the last time, I authorize a full evacuation, level 11 emergency. That's not the only thing. It seems like he'll be like, I'd like you to take, unless I'm super, super, super conscious about it. He's like, I want you to take all the manpower out of the lower back. We're not going to need it there. I feel like the body would really appreciate that. He's like, I'd like you to relocate it to the gut area. And if you feel like you run out of room there, stack some reserves into the thighs, will you? It's ridiculous. It's the way my body is run is nothing that I appreciate, unfortunately. Especially the evacuations at the times that just don't seem to coordinate with my schedule. And I've mentioned it before, but it for me is a full shower situation. I must take a full shower. I must ensure that I fully clean off, and that unfortunately I'm gonna have to wait. And my body just oftentimes is like, nope, now is the time. I was literally screaming in pain the other day. I told my son to run in the bathroom because I was like, bathroom? Why'd I say it like that? You know what the fucking bullshit is? Oh, I'm going to lose track of my thoughts. You know how I just said bathroom like 3 times in a row, right? So like that's not a normal complete sentence. And people never talk in normal complete sentences, right? It's so rare that like you start a sentence and then you end a sentence just perfect and complete. It's more like there are so many likes and there's so many you knows or you know what I'm sayings or fucking or just so many number of things that don't go along with a normal fucking sentence. So like my thought is on transcripts, I don't think that they're supposed to look like or could possibly look like normal complete sentences. And then you wonder like why then. I guess it's interesting how like all of our literature is set to follow all these crazy rules, and yet our language itself doesn't follow those rules at all. Like our language is fucking crazy different than the way we write. Like the way that we write is so proper. It's so like has to be this and then that and then it's the end and that's the thought. And then do you know what I mean? It has to be very concise and strong and to the point, and the way we actually talk is full of ums and full of you knows and full of likes. The amount of fucking like people say in between their words is unreal. And so it's like you just even think that they, and I kind of chuckled before I said this because I knew that by saying it I would completely lose track of thought. Probably better that I did. I actually can now think about what I was thinking about, and I guess it was just my son and talking to him about going to the bathroom, and that was what it was. Yep, exactly. I said bath, and I guess I say bathroom weird. What the fuck's that all about? But point being, like sometimes I'm fixing up these transcripts, right? And then it's like right there. So if I say bathroom 3 times in a row, that's a great example. That's not how fucking sentences look. You know what I mean? They don't have like all these repeats, and then if you do, like, what do you put the ellipsis in between the words? And it's like, this is not an issue that anybody's struggling with, but my just thought is like, it's so interesting how our language is verbally represented in a way that's totally different than it's like literature is written down and represented. And it's, I mean, you know, people will say that like English is one of the hardest languages to learn, and you totally understand why. Like, fucking, dude, I remember when I was working as a GM at the hotel, I had this woman that was, she knew really well. She was really good speaking English. Fluent is the word. She was really fluent in English, and she was also very fluent in Spanish. And so she would translate, and she'd be like, she'd be like, sometimes you talk too fast. And I'm like, fucking dude, totally. Like, I even look back at my, and sometimes I'm like, I can't even imagine trying to do, you know what I mean? If you didn't know this language, and then if they taught it to you in this proper, crazy, concise, neat, organized way, and then the way we actually speak it is so different. It's so fucking widely different. But yeah, my whole thought was just like, something about the bathroom, and now I can't actually think about what that was. Hey, cheers to you guys. Put fruit in my son's water sometimes. He complains about it. He thinks it's weird. I'm like, dude, that's a good thing. That's like a cool thing. It's cool to have fruit. There are like hotels that I worked at that was like something that they advertised. It was like a big deal. And I remember there was lazy motherfuckers that would work the desk, and I'd be like, hey, did you, and some people say that you're not supposed to wash fruit. They say like, you don't wash fruits and vegetables anymore. I don't know if that's just some crazy hippie shit that I fucking heard, but I heard that maybe you don't wash stuff anymore. But I'd ask people before that, like, put the fruit water out in the lobby in the hotels that I worked at. I'd be like, hey, did you wash that fruit? And they'd be like, yeah. And then I'd be like, well, what about the sticker on it? You know what I mean? Like, you left the sticker on it. So like they would tell me that they washed it, and you know, it's like, but they left the sticker on it, and I don't know. I can't imagine fucking washing and cutting a fruit and not taking the sticker off. That's so gross. So you'd see like these like fruits floating around in there with the fucking little sticker on them, like, because people are so insanely lazy, dude. You just have to find a team. I guess that's the thing. You have to find people that are passionate about what you're doing and care about your mission and are willing to work with you and take their time to be, you know, just dedicated during the hours that they spend with you. Because otherwise, it's just even getting somebody to focus and be motivated. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. But oh, what were we talking about? Yeah, I was talking about how my body doesn't know me. Oh, and then I have to fucking, oh my God, though. I was actually going to talk about like my whole situation, but my son, man, I think he's got a poop fetish. It's, it's one of those things you almost don't want to talk about. It's one of those things that I was like, I think that's one that I want to keep to myself. I think it's something that I don't want to bring to the world's attention, because what the fuck, you know? And like that in my mind would be like, because, you know, ... what the fuck, ? But that's not a sentence. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's not. And then you see what I'm saying stuff. It's like, yeah, and then fucking all these incomplete sentences. Dude, I will start a sentence. The amount of times I start a sentence and I don't fucking complete it is unreal. The amount of times that I start a thought and I don't finish the thought is fucking silly. Like there was this part of Biodome, and I don't know if I've talked about it before, but there was this line where Bud McIntosh is being chased by Dr. Noah Faulkner, and he's just like, can you complete one thought? And I feel like that often. I unfortunately feel like that. I wish I could get through a thought more often than I not. But yeah, man, every time he has a bowel movement, it changes my schedule. Like, the sad thing is, I think most people view that, and especially if you were like a mom or something, you would probably view me, some white male guy, saying that about his kid and being like, yeah, it's probably about time you change a diaper or something. But it's like, no. He's 8. He's 8 years old. He says, this is not a diaper thing anymore. And when the diapers were a-flowing, dude, not only did I change so many goddamn diapers, and then you like, even somebody like, some mom would be like, no, I know the mom. No, she didn't. She worked a full-time job. I was at home all day long with him. She would stay up at night with him, which was nice because I can't stay up at night. I have to get sleep. I'm such a little bitch. I just need sleep. I can't be a human. I'm an asshole anyway, no matter what. So if I don't get sleep, then it's a disaster. I'm just like a fucking, I'm tiptoe doing a yoga pose on the edge of a cliff, and fucking there's a strong breeze, and it's just like any wrong move or fucking losing my balance, I'm just going over the edge. It's so quick it could happen, unfortunately, if I don't manage my sleep appropriately. And so I changed so many diapers. It's not like that. It's not that situation. I'm even so like anal about that like, some people, they sell shit. They sell devices for you to keep nasty diapers in. And I think like people keep them in their homes. Like, no way. Dude, every time we ever took out a diaper, it didn't like sit anywhere in the house. It didn't sit anywhere in the garage. Like, it went outside. It went outside where the fucking things full of poop go, dude. It was not in the house. But like, that's what I'm saying. At that age, you're expecting it. You're expecting this constant just involvement with somebody else's feces, and then you feel like, okay, after a while, like, we got this under control, like everything's good, potty training is done, you got this now, dude, like this is on you got this under control. And then every time, I mean, like, one, I'll be like, dude, are you drinking enough water? And then he'll like get mad at me. He'll get mad at me because I'm asking him, are you ensuring that you're hydrating yourself enough so that your body is not just all solids, dude? Like, you need some liquid in your diet, and you got to drink water anyway. Like, and he'd be like, yeah, I had fucking 2 of these today. Like, he had like 2 like little water, and I'm like, that's not enough. You need more water. You need like 4 times that at least. Like, you probably need more than that. I know somebody else is probably like, you need exactly, like there's literally probably a scientist that knows exactly what you need. And maybe, I think it's like a timing thing. Like, I don't know if I've said it before about like my yard, but like I remember in the past, like I just neglected the shit out of my yard, and we have these automatic sprinklers, but they weren't quite getting all of the range of the perimeter of the yard, and they weren't also like being on all the time. And so like for once I actually just like watered the yard, and it's amazing how much it grows. It's amazing how much it just fucking, and now I can't remember why the fuck that could, no, that seems like a stretch. I was thinking about my son needing some hydration. He sure does need hydration. And then I'm talking about how the lawn needs water. I mean, I guess, I don't know. But my thought was, yeah. Actually, I got it. So like back in the day, like I would just like not, we had these automatic sprinklers, and so I thought that would take care of it. And then if they didn't, I would just like water the shit out of it. Like, I would just drown it, and then it didn't seem like it helped. And then like I would drown it again like a while later. Well, now I'll just like water it consistently, like every other day, like consistently. And now that the automatic sprinklers are on, I haven't watered it in probably like 4 or 5 days. But for weeks and weeks and weeks, I've watered it every other day, and the grass is the most beautiful it's ever been. And it's so dumb. It's so dumb because it's like, just, yeah, you had to water your grass. But I mean, like, my point in saying that is just like, I don't think you can just fucking water it all, like dump it all at once and then neglect it and then dump it all at once. Like, it has to be a consistent, just like give you a little bit here and then wait a little while and let it dry out and give it a little bit. And that's another thing that I was surprised about in Colorado is how like there are certain areas where it dries out so quick. Like I feel like I drench the shit out of it, and then the next day it's 100% dry. And so that's another cool thing about like actually paying attention to where you're watering it, because you realize like based on the sun and the way it's hitting it, or maybe even just the ground or the fact that there's a tree there or something like that, it's like this area just seems to soak up way more. But my point in saying that, it was like my son, I feel like, you know, I don't think you can even just take it all at once. I don't think you can just like, oh, I haven't been drinking water all day, well now I'm just gonna pound a shitload. I feel like you do the same thing. You have to like just consistently stay hydrated. I don't think you can just like, okay, well, I'm not going to drink water for 8 hours while I'm working, but after I get home, I'm going to drink a whole bunch of water. Or like before I go to work, I drink 2 things of water, but then during work all day, I forget to drink water because I'm so busy. Like, nah, I don't think you can do that. I think you have to stay consistently hydrated in order to reap the benefits of being actually hydrated. And that's where I was saying a scientist could probably say, like, based on, you know, fucking factors that I'm not even aware of, could probably say exactly how many ounces of water and how much fucking sodium and glucose and everything should be in that water, what the pH balance should be based on your blood. You know what I mean? Like, there's probably some scientists that could break that down of exactly how much hydration you need. And I probably am overdoing it, but I don't know. That's one of those things I feel like you can't really overdo, right? As I almost vomit, as I almost fucking puke everywhere. Just kidding. I wasn't gonna. I just had like burps, but sometimes when I'm editing, I'm looking at that, and then like I think about Chris and Chris D'Elia on his podcast. Congratulations. Or on other times, I'll just talk shit about people. It's like, just gonna throw up. And so it's just like sometimes even when I burp or like I'm editing and looking back at it, I'm like, you look like you're gonna vomit. So fuck it, I thought I'd just say it. Sorry. Yeah, so there's that. So yeah, oh my I don't know where I got with that, but I'm done. I've said it before, actually. Now that I was gonna say that, I know on a podcast before I said I was like, I'm done with this shit. But it's not like it wasn't like I, you know, have to take care of like some young child's diaper. It's like the fact that like, okay, so like one, if he goes in there, he's not drinking enough water, so his shits are way too hard. So they just don't. They clog the toilet almost every time. Like, I'd say 8 out of 10 times they clog the toilet, unfortunately. So like 8 out of 10 times we have, so either he's in there and he takes the plunger and he's like breaking it up, trying to stab it. And you're like, dude, if you have to break it up with a stick, you need more water. Like, maybe you don't need a scientist for that. Maybe you don't need fucking glucose, monitor to tell you exactly. Sorry. Yeah, so he's either in there breaking it up with the thing, and then it's like, it's not like he cleans the plunger, you know what I mean? It's not like he fucking is like, oh, I need to sanitize this plunger. Like luckily I keep like I put like a little paper towel under where the plunger goes. I'm smelling shit. I think that's that phantosmia thing. I think it's phantosmia. I swear to God. I'm literally smelling shit right now. It's either my breath or fucking that phantosmia thing where I'm talking about it and it bothers me, and now I'm literally smelling it. But I hope that's not the case. Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm smelling shit. But yeah. So he's either in there breaking it up himself, right, and then putting it back down, and like luckily it does go on a paper towel typically that's on the ground where I put like where we keep the plunger, just because I think it's better than it contacting the direct floor for some reason, even though that floor gets bleached at least once every 7 days. He's not going to clean it off, right? And so sometimes I've gone in there, and sometimes I've even gone in there and got upset, and sometimes I've cleaned it in front of him, and sometimes I've cleaned it after him, and I don't mean to, but it really fucking bothers me. And then so like there's that, and then so like either then he's trying to plunge it, and I don't he's got a couple. He's got a couple. He's got a couple of them down all by himself. He's got a couple of them down by plunging. But then there's often like shit water everywhere, right? So then like the entire bathroom is like he's learning. And the other day when I was in there, felt like I was literally micromanaging, I guess would be the best way to describe it, unfortunately. But I was like, he didn't actually splash any out. But so often, then so like I said, if he either I go in there and do it, and then so he's like what runs back and plays his video games and goes back to his YouTube, and then fucking I'm sitting in there, sweat dripping from my fucking head, plunging the shit out of the toilet, or I try to teach him how to fucking plunge the toilet at least a little bit. So again, it probably felt like I was micromanaging him, trying to get him to do it. But then he actually, you know, does a pretty good job, or then I end up doing it. So I'm trying to teach him, like, you know, this is how you at least have to do it, because I don't want to do it every time. And most of the time, if I'm not really coaching it, there's going to be water splashing all over the place. So then, like, there's water on the outside on the ground, and it's poo water. And, like, even the other day, he was like, well, you know, while I was in the middle of it, I had to pee. So then I peed. And you know what I mean? So it's like sometimes it's pee water, and it's just like fucking, it's such a disaster. And then so, like, do you know what I'm saying? So then after that, not only are he is to the point where he can wipe his own ass, and the last couple times that I've had to do it, there hasn't really been anything. It's like a couple specks, like one of the last times. So I'm actually amazed at how well he's actually wiping his ass now, because like I'm still gonna check. I'm not gonna let him just walk around and have skids in his underwear and shit. So then there's that. So then it's like we get that cleaned up. So at least he himself, his body is clean. But then it's like the toilet needs to be unclogged. So then finally either I do it or he does get it done, which, like I said, I think like twice he's got it done, but most of the time then I end up doing it. And then 3, the goddamn floor. So then I end up just bleaching the whole toilet, the whole floor, and everything. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like now, dude, I didn't even realize it. Like his mom came the other day and she was like, hey, you know, I'm here. And she was coming to pick him up. And I was like, you know, I'll send him out as soon as I can. But he's pooping. And then I looked at my phone after that, and this wasn't even a bad time. By the time she texted me, and by the time I was looking at my phone again and sent him out, it was 30 minutes. So I know that doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but if it's like, dude, it gives me a stomach ache. Every time he says he has to go take a shit, every time he says he's going to the bathroom, I literally get a stomach ache. I'm like, this sucks. Like, I don't want to deal with this. And like, especially like, so then if you go through all that, if you're in there like sweating, pushing on the toilet, and then you're bleaching everything, and so like either you're hopefully wearing gloves or you're still getting all nasty. A lot of times I'll like have just got out of the shower. There's been times I was getting ready to start the podcast. Do you think I want to sit down here and talk while my head's all just like covered in sweat? I literally smell like somebody else's shit. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, if I just got out of the shower, I want to go back in the shower. So it's like, even still, like I said, once all that's done, it's not like it's done. I thought that by getting to 8, I thought by getting to this point, we'd be done. And he took a shit recently and didn't clog the toilet, and that was amazing. And I swear to God, I'm like, dude, it's funny. It's not the same. I told him it reminded me of that, but I just told him, I was like, you know, you can lie to me about how much water you drink, but if your poop are fucking rock hard, I'm like, we're gonna know. I know it's dumb, but if we're in there breaking them up with a stick, like, it's like, you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Dr. Drew. I swear to God, I've heard him talking about that, of like fucking opiate. Like opiate addicts, where their poops are so hard, you know what I mean? Like that's not something that a small 8-year-old child should be dealing with. I told him I almost bought fiber cookies, and he's like, you should have. He's like, you should have. Somebody must have told him. I think I did too. I don't mean, it bothers me. It bothers me so much. I just feel like he's of the age where it's like, it's not something we should be dealing with at this point. You guys have to let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Right, how, you know, if when your child or a child that you've supervised has a bowel movement, does it change your schedule for the rest of the day? Are you now in a different ability to complete things for the rest of the day based on this bowel movement that's occurring? And also with you, because like I said, I sometimes feel like there's somebody in me that's changing what it does for me, and it's like it has no give a fuck about what the fuck I'm doing, does not care what I'm in the middle of, does not care that I will literally have to run to the bathroom screaming in pain if I don't immediately respond to the fucking emergency evacuation that's being set upon me. You'll have to let me know if that's if I'm the only person that's dealing with that. Hopefully not. But I'll be right back, and we'll talk about something else. Who knows what? It'll be super exciting. See you soon. I'm back. You guys ever use any sort of protein, like say supplemental protein products? I, for a long time, have taken a protein shake in the morning, even in the times where I didn't work out. I had read somewhere sometime, whether it's true or not, and maybe we could look it up actually. I had read that there was a benefit for your metabolism to have protein early in the morning. So even when I was not working out, I would often have at least a small protein shake right when I woke up, because I read somewhere, probably in some fucking, fitness magazine that wasn't even true or something like that, that you're supposed to have protein in the morning and it's good for your metabolism. I also read at one time or another, which is related to what I was talking about earlier, but I think I had read sometime or another that if you drink like at least like 8 ounces, or like if you drink like a bottle of water or something like that right when you wake up, I think it's supposed to be really good for your body. And the weird thing is I think that somebody had also said you're supposed to drink like one, like say right before you go to bed, or like 8 ounces right before you go to bed. But then like I heard another guy, I think it was that like More Plates, More Dates guy, I think he said he stops drinking water like 30 minutes or something before he goes to bed. So maybe more. Excuse me. But so I guess it just, things change, you know what I mean? I guess it just depends on how up on the new knowledge you are. But yeah, don't remember what the fuck I was talking about now. Sweet. Oh yeah, protein. So like I was asking if you guys had used any protein products. It seemed like a number of months ago, I used to buy my protein at Sam's. There was a long time ago that you could literally get a 5-gallon bucket for some insane price. It was stupid. It was insane. Like, because they were literally selling other products in normal size, like 5-gallon, 5-pound. They were selling other 5-pound containers for like multiple times the amount of money, and then they'd sell these buckets. So like I even still have some of the buckets. I probably have like 6 of the buckets in my garage, because I don't know, I'm a poor piece of shit, and I guess I saved the buckets in case I needed them for something. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where like you throw them out over and over and over again, right? And then you need a fucking bucket, and you're like, God damn it, I've thrown away so many buckets that I just were like, well, I don't need that anymore, so that's trash, right? And then but that one time when you need a fucking bucket for something, you know what I mean? It's so dumb. I'm not like a hoarder. There's most things I would just be like, even right now, dude, my son's in 2nd grade. He just finished 2nd grade, right? So it's like we have all of the shit from all these years, and not even all of it, because like some of it goes to his mom's house, right? So who knows, a fraction of the shit from the last 3 years. And I'm like, it's time, you know what I mean? We can keep some, but he the other day was putting some stuff in his little folder, but I'm like, we gotta part ways with some of this shit. And I think I gotta part ways. One thing that I'm almost I have this weird hope that if I look through my shit, because I one of the things that like I did hang on to that I thought was dumb is I did hang on to my Pokemon cards, and I have this weird hope that like I'll find them someday. And it's like you hear those fucking stories about like people getting actual good money. I also heard that getting them what is it, certified or whatever it is fairly difficult. I saw that there was this one gentleman. I follow a podcast, the YMH podcast, Your Mom's House podcast with Tom Segura and Christina Pazitsky. And there's their producer on there, Annie Kravitz. I don't know if his last name's Kravitz. That's his Instagram handle, which is probably not, because that Lenny Kravitz is a person and he's Annie. Anyway, I was, one time Annie posted this kid, Annie, that's the producer on that podcast, posted on his Instagram that he had got it, like, whatever it is, certified or whatever you have to do. Basically, you send it into the card people, and the card people say, yes, this is an authentic card. And the only reason, like, I asked him, I was like, hey, how'd you do that? And he didn't respond, probably because he's too cool for that, but also, like, he was probably like, that's something you can Google. My thought was, how easy would it be to put up a fake card thing on the internet? That's not something I'm gonna do, but point being, if he was to tell me what entity he used to certify, and I'm probably not using the right word, whatever it is that you use to show that your card is authentic and that it's real, and they put some sort of marking or they give some sort of grade to it or whatever it is that they do, he had said it took months and months and months, and he finally got this back from this place. And so I was thinking, hey, this is for sure a real place. They for sure do the right work, and it's for sure authentic once they give it a grade. And so I was like, if he just told me the name of the business, I would know that I'm not going through all this time trying to say vet through reading reviews or looking online for some company that's going to do that. Because my thought is, if these cards, some of them are worth what they're saying they are, and you just got even a few or a handful of fake ones before you got caught, you could have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of cards before you got caught, right? Like if you were to make a fake business, and it's not that hard to make a fake online business, especially where you just have everybody sending you shit, right? I guess aside from the fact that they're probably going to send them like certified or whatever, and so then they would know where they were sent. But you could set up a P.O. box, but you probably have to have an address set up to that P.O. box. So it would just depend on how far you were going. I don't know any of that, but point being, my hope is that maybe one day, I'll find some cool shit in my all my old stuff. But I kept those buckets for some reason, right? I kept some of the buckets, but Sam's used to carry this large amount of protein in like these gigantic buckets, and then they stopped carrying it. And then it's like, okay, like I said, you're carrying other 5-pound amounts of protein, which are still a good price, but the 5-gallon bucket was, you can't beat it. It was some ridiculous amount of pounds of protein powder, and it was like they were selling it for just nothing, for pennies. And then it was it was probably something terrible. It's probably the reason I have zits all over my face all the time. That's funny. I don't know that that's true. I have heard Joe Rogan talk about how, like, even when they were like testing Alpha Brain or like trying to get Alpha Brain, again, the word I want to use is certified, but I don't think it's certified. They were just trying to get it tested to make sure that just the vitamins that they put in were the vitamins that were in there. And because some people don't clean their vats or their tanks well enough, they were finding other vitamins in Alpha Brain when they first had other people making it or whatever it was. And so it was like, my point in saying that is, who knows what this cheap protein powder they were selling is. But then, like, after that, they stopped selling the 5-pound, and like, luckily I drive all over the place, so like, I'll go to towns here nearby, so I've traveled, like, when I noticed it was running out at my Sam's Club, I bought out like 3 or 4 of them in the nearby Sam's Club, and I bought out like another 3 of them in another Sam's Club, and then I even bought some online and I had it sent to me. So for like the longest time I had protein, because I was like, I'm never going to stop taking it. Even when I wasn't working out, I was always taking some sort of protein powder. And I think I've heard people say that it's probably better to take like actual meat or protein. It's probably better to take some actual product that actually has protein in it, because your body actually knows what that is. I almost feel like at this time, even though I've switched back and forth between, like, there was a period of time where I did soy, but other than that, it's always been whey protein. I almost feel like there's, like, my body knows, like, okay, we know what to do with this now. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard people say, like, your body doesn't know what necessarily to do with such a large amount of protein, but I guess I'd like to think after over 10 years or however long it's been of fucking having protein on a consistent basis every day, that my body probably knows, okay, we get this, it has this in it, we use it for this, you know what I mean? Like, I guess I'd like to think that that's taken care of, but they stopped selling it everywhere. So like I had it for the longest time. Now I buy it on Amazon. The same 5-pound tub that I've been buying on Amazon for like the last 6 months has increased $10, which I know doesn't sound like that much, but that's a lot of fucking money. You know what I mean? Like the same shit, same 5-pound tub. It's the same thing I was getting 6 months ago is now $10 more. So it's like, you know, it's like $40 now or some shit like that, which I don't know. I know that there are fucking really high quality protein powders that they sell for like, they're stupid amounts. Like you'll see them for like 2 pounds for like $100. That actually reminds me of steaks. That's steaks. Depending on how many plates you're serving, you get like 1 to 2 meals for like $100. It's insane. It's fucking insane. I'm not here to complain about. Maybe I am. I don't know. Maybe I am. I'm not here to complain about inflation, I don't think. But the one thing that I noticed, so Sam's, it's not like they're completely out of protein. They have like 6 different varieties of plant-based protein. What the fuck is that all about? What? Like what? Did something happen to the supply? And I guess at this time, I am the slowest, worst fucking editor in the entire world. So at this time, we're going through a baby formula shortage. It would seem like maybe it's silly to complain about my lack of ability to find protein powder when there's literal babies that can't, you know what I mean? Because it may be along the same line or whatever, but like, is the same reason we're out of baby powder, is that why we're out of whey protein? Like, why would Sam's be switching over to all different varieties of plant protein? Like, I thought about maybe trying the peanut butter one or whatever, but none of them have. Like, they have one that was on sale. I bought like one of their Atkins shakes or whatever, and it had like 15 grams of protein, but that's like nothing. And all of their servings of protein, like their scoops of protein in their plant-based ones, had less than that. It was way less. They were like more like 8, 10, 11. You know what I mean? So you're drinking, I don't know. I guess if you were a plant-based diet and you didn't have any animal-based products, it would be beneficial. But like, is Sam's forecasting that the diet of Americans is going to move that way, or are they just like the availability? And again, is it somehow related to the availability of like the baby formula and the products and things that go into that? I don't know. I guess it's probably really stupid to think, but somehow in my monkey brain, I see whey protein and baby formula as similar products. Am I crazy? Doesn't it sound like they would probably have similar fucking compounds in them, just maybe different percentages of the fucking things that are in them? That makes sense in my head. The only unfortunate thing about Googling stuff while I'm sitting here trying to talk is sometimes the results are not good. And so sometimes I clickety clack, and then we fucking wait it out, and it's not always good. The results are not always positive. Speaking of, the results are not always positive. This is not my intended way to. This is not what I was planning on segueing, but Amber Heard, hey? You guys have probably seen. You've probably. Sorry, dying on camera, dying in front of everybody is. Everybody's dying, aren't we all the time? That's the thing that we forget. I think we forget that. I forget that all the time. I forget that I'm dying. My son will say that, and he'll be like, "But not forever." And I'm like, "You don't fucking know. You don't know, man. We hope We hope. We hope we wake up tomorrow. We all hope we wake up tomorrow. A couple podcasts ago, I don't remember which one it was, but I heard Joe Rogan talking about on the JRE, how do we even know when we wake up the next day that our entire past and all of our memories aren't just programmed and downloaded, and this isn't actually our first day we've ever lived, and like all the different possibilities of that. Maybe it was the last Duncan Trussell. That sounds like a Duncan Trussell podcast fucking subject. Maybe not though, maybe not, but that'll fuck you up. That'll really mess you up. But other than that, my point of saying that is we don't know if we're gonna wake up tomorrow. We hope we're going to, but I was saying, yeah. So if you've paid any attention to this podcast, I Tarantino'd the trial. So I came in. I originally had no interest. I was like, I don't understand why anybody gives a fuck about their personal business. Then I couldn't understand why everybody in the world gets demonetized on their personal business. And then I felt like if you can't beat them, join them. And when I came into the trial, it was during Amber's testimony. However, it was during the attorney that she hired giving her questioning. And then I saw the cross-examination. And if I hadn't, you know what it is? Excuse my clearing my throat there. Unfortunately, I think that I'm so dumb. I think that I'm so delusional that I was mesmerized by that beautiful, beautiful woman. And unfortunately, I saw the best in her, and I really, really held out for as long as I could. And if I hadn't figured out who she was or what it was that she had done in that relationship, when Johnny's team, Johnny Depp's defense team, I don't know if he's the plaintiff for the defense, I forget at this point, when his team presented that recording of her psychotically laughing and taunting him, and I think maybe even hitting him, I was like, Jesus Christ, thank God they got that, because I shouldn't say I certainly was duped. And isn't it so dumb that I think somewhere deep down I thought that if I saw the best in her, maybe I had a chance. Maybe there was a shot there for me. Isn't that so funny? But it's just like, even still, could you possibly want that? And the answer is no. No, nobody wants that. That was so bad. That was so awful. So unfortunately, and then a lot of times too, I know that they had mentioned that one event where she had a photo shoot, and she claimed that the photo shoot was weeks after the event where she alleged that Johnny's foot was on her back. But even in that photo shoot, she looked immaculate. She always looks immaculate. She's gorgeous. She's so fucking beautiful. That girl is, I mean, she doesn't, she's pretty in court. She's pretty. She's still a beautiful girl. You almost don't realize it. It's like the siren deal where you're just being drawn in and you're like, almost don't know why. Oh, but then the sirens are awful. They're ugly when you get there, huh? So it's not the same. It's not the sirens. It's not siren. It's the siren song. She draws you in with siren song, I guess, but, she's not the siren, because the sirens were ugly, right? They were like hairy, nasty bitches. But their voices were beautiful, and they would do something bad to you, I think, right? Wasn't that in like fucking Homer's Odyssey or whatever? Anyway, so fuck, now I can't remember what we were talking about. Fuck. So Amber Heard, yeah. She you don't almost notice when she's in court, because she's just naturally gorgeous. But then you see her all dolled up in those fucking, all dolled up. I sound like my mother. That's what my mom would say. You see her with makeup on. You see her after hair and makeup, and she looks fucking incredible. She looks amazing. but no sign whatsoever of like having a boot in her back or whatever. And again, that's the only time that she stated that it had been weeks after. All those other instances where they were literally showing photos of her the next day, sometimes like that day or the following day, she'd be in a photo shoot or at an event, and Johnny's team just showed like all these photos of her or stills of her or exported frames of her, and like she didn't look like she had makeup caked on in order to disguise any sort of damage. She looked like she was gorgeous, like always. She looked amazing. She looked fucking amazing. And it's just tough to, again, I guess when the first part of the trial that I saw was her testimony, and it was also the part where her team was leading her, everything she said made Johnny out to sound like a maniac, like a monster. But then his defense, dude, I just heard it in the first of all, I should say his defense completely, just annihilated everything that she made up, and also literally showed proof of like, hey, these are all the days that you said that he beat the shit out of you, and you look amazing the next days. And then the one thing, before I get myself off track, because I won't remember what the fuck I was talking about, the one thing that I was like, how are they going to explain that, was the marks on her arms. But it was until his team, and I heard Joe Rogan on the JRE call her Claire. I've also heard Amber call her Mrs. Vasquez. So is her name Claire Vasquez? I've referred to her as the mistress of objection so far, because I'm an asshole and I don't know her name, and she would probably sue me and kill me. That's the only real thing. Dude, I don't remember what I was going to say about her. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Fuck. I'm so good at losing track of what I'm talking about. But, yeah, so then the arm thing. When she brought up that she had been a known, I was trying to find some stupid way to sugarcoat it. She had a cutting issue when she was in her youth. She would cut herself on her arms. She would induce marks. So until Johnny's team said that, I was like, man, that's going to be pretty tough. And some of the other things I was wondering, like, hey, how did the defenders describe this? Like, how did Johnny's defenders stand up to this? Like, for instance, there is that video where he's like slamming cupboards and stuff like that, and the cupboard literally breaks. There's a piece of the cupboard that breaks off, and he doesn't look super surprised. He's not like, oh no, my anger just broke my shit. Like, oh, wake up call, like, shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really affecting the things around me, and this is a negative behavior that I have, and now I'm gonna have to pay somebody to come in and fix my cup. You know what I mean? Like, he just goes and pours a large glass of wine. So again, before I see a cross an examination on Amber Heard in the trial, I'm just like, she was abused, she was mistreated, and then his defense really did his team, again, I don't remember who's the plaintiff and who's the defense, but his team really did a good job of literally showing her in photos almost immediately afterwards in so many scenarios where she had no bruises. And there was that another situation where I was like, how are they gonna, my other thought about, like, how isn't it funny how, like, she was saying that when he was pouring that huge glass of wine, I think Amber was like saying, if you drink the rest of that this morning. And so it's got to be like, what, in the morning at his own house? He's in the morning at his own house, and he's got this like super nice hat on. He's in the morning at his own house, and he's got a feather in his hat. You know what I mean? He's got always with the glamorous, like the rings and the glasses, right? So he's like, he's very on brand, no matter what the time of day is, no matter when it is. Like, he was clearly not happy to be recorded. So it's not like he didn't have that on for anybody. Like, when he saw that phone or tablet, I think it was a tablet, he either threw it or knocked it down. So it's not like he was expecting or hoping to be on camera. That's just how he actually is, with his hat, with his feather in it, and his nice glasses and his rings. but yeah, I was like, how do you stand up for that? Because he doesn't look too surprised. My thought after learning more, and I haven't learned everything yet, like there's even some stuff I just haven't had a chance. I said I was going to, and I just haven't had a chance yet. I still haven't seen Johnny's original testimony or the cross-examination of him. I haven't seen anything since part of Amber Heard's cross-examination. I fucking fell asleep during it the other day. I woke up in the middle of the night and had to like brush my teeth because I like still hadn't even brushed my teeth and shit. I literally was exhausted, like just trying to watch it. And so I'm trying to fucking jam it into my life when I can, but my life is busy enough. So trying to fit this trial into it, it's like I can do it when I work out and stuff like that, but then it's like, I don't know, I feel like it robs me, like it almost seems like it's not fair. It seems like it's not, dude. I keep hearing it, so I can't avoid it. Like, like, what was it? Fucking Pauly Shore when his like wheeze. There's that band Weezer. I literally sound like birds chirping outside when I breathe in, dude. I try to take a breathe in. It sounds like fucking birds chirping in my throat. Like, what the fuck is going on? Do I need a glass of water? Oh my God. Oh my God. There was that guy in the trial, right? That just kept coughing and coughing. Like, I swear to God, if I would be like, that was that perfect time when you needed Trump, right? Remember when Trump was like, if you're going to cough, can you please leave the room? I probably didn't even say please, but he was like, if you're going to cough, can you leave the room? Like we needed somebody there to say some shit like that. Like I literally thought that Mrs. Vasquez or whatever was going to be like, can we get this guy a fucking cough drop? Can we get this guy out of the room? But like every time something happened, he'd be like, blah, 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 you know what I mean? He'd just lose his shit. I was like, was he trying to be in the clips? Like, get that guy the fuck out of there. I breathe and there's like birds in my throat. It sounds like birds chirping in the morning when you're laying in your bed and you're supposed to be getting up and you can hear the birds outside. Oh, there we go. That water helped. I'm like, that's what it sounds like when I breathe in. Yeah, I'm not quite the wheeze or Weezer. My point is those are like sounds that you'd like to think they thought of, but what they've heard out of their throat. I guess like birds chirping in the morning, but anyway. Yeah, dude. So much though. It's like she clearly, my one thought was she clearly experienced times where he was angry and where he was aggressive. She clearly behaved in ways that were taunting, aggressive. They both, it looks like he slammed shit, she threw shit. It sounds like her team tried to blame the shit on the dogs. It sounds like she said she would never do that. Somebody took a shit, right? So there was actual, shit. I haven't seen it all. I know that's what I was just saying I haven't even seen it all yet, but it seems fairly clear. Unfortunately, it took me longer than it should have. That they may have experienced some negative times. Like obviously they had some anger. They obviously had some passion. They obviously had some things thrown, things slammed, people hit. I say people because I think it's really obvious she was hitting him in one of those recordings, right? And all the times that she said he hit her, God, man, she just looked so great the next days and not look like she was like trying to cover up bruises and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I just think that her... Another thing that you'll notice, like another thing that I thought was super impressive, and this is another thing that you'll just notice with liars in general, you can so easily use their own words against them. And anytime she was in a situation where she foresaw that she had her own words about to be used against her, she would like, if you don't have anything to hide, you would just answer those questions. And I guess then you could say, well, is it come down to just the fact that she's going to have to pay, like, what is it, like fucking $100 million or whatever it is, $50 million. She's going to have to pay all that money. So it's like, it comes down to like the idea of you just want to win. You don't want to lose. You don't want to be on the losing side of that if you have to pay that amount of money. Maybe. But otherwise, it almost seems like, I guess, yeah. It just seems like she's in a corner. She knows that she's gonna, if she answers the question appropriately, they're gonna show that she literally either contradicted herself or said something that she didn't do, or they'll find some way where they use her words against her, and she makes it hard to answer the question or makes it difficult to get the answer out. And it's just like, if you had nothing to hide, you would just answer the question. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, I just don't think somebody that has nothing to hide tries to avoid answering questions like that. Though I tried to play devil's advocate, and I can understand when you're looking down the barrel of $50 million, you would probably just get in the mindset of not losing. You would rather just, I want to win. So I get that. Other than that, another thing she tried to do was paint Johnny out to be jealous, and tried to paint it out to be like he was just jealous for no reason. But then you see like the elevator footage of James Franco coming over, and so she even used James Franco multiple times about how he was in a movie or a project that she was going to be doing, and Johnny was giving her a hard time, like saying, is that how you get roles or whatever like that. But then you see like they're literally like, I think she's resting her head on his shoulder, and then he rests his head on her head in the elevator. That doesn't, come on, man. You know what I mean? And then there's that photo shoot, right? Where I think when they were on the island or whatever it was, there was that period of time where she was on the island, and she had that guy between her legs, right? So they had that photo where she's laying there and that guy's sitting between it. So this was like, even she paints it out to be where she's like, I'm never alone with these guys. And even in that situation, she's not alone with him. There's another girl right there next to her, but come on, you know what I mean? Like, I guess my thought is like, I want to think that it's innocent. Like, I remember one time I remember we had taken a bunch of ecstasy. Like, me and a bunch of my friends, we took a bunch of ecstasy, and my friend's girlfriend was really hot, to tell you the truth. And I was laying there. They actually had this couch open, like a hide-a-bed type deal open, and I was laying on this hide-a-bed, and she was like sitting right between my legs. And when her boyfriend came out, my friend, and saw that after a period of time, he was very upset. So my point in saying that, when I was in that part of the scenario, I thought it was okay. I knew it wasn't. I know it's not. I knew it wasn't. I'd be so pissed off if that was me, and he was pissed off, rightfully. Man, I wouldn't say that was like an opportunity with that girl. I had probably one other opportunity with that girl. It doesn't really matter the scenario, but she just grabbed my crotch under a hot tub one time, and I was just not expecting it. I was not ready for it at all. And it was not in like a time where it was like a party or anything like that. It was like around adults, like that we didn't know, like in a public setting. It was insane, and I was just not expecting it. Those were really the two only times that girl, you could so to say, gave me the hot tub time. You'd like to think is an opportunity. It's certainly forward. I guess I could say that. Maybe if it wasn't an opportunity for me, she's being forward, right? Is that correct? I don't know. Otherwise, the other one could just be like she's being very comfortable by sitting in between my legs. But my point in saying that is, her boyfriend was very upset about that. I could totally see how Johnny would be upset about that. And that's all just what you see in the photo. You know what I mean? That's what you see of her and James Franco on the fucking cam. And so it's like, even even if she did try to paint him as jealous, which again, his team showed she doesn't like have any evidence of, which they did a lot. They were like, I mean, but you don't have any evidence of that, right? And it's like, I know that's tough because you don't always get evidence of everything, but I don't know, you think you'd have some. And then they really turned it on her too. It's so crazy how they did that. Like they were like, you know, she painted him out to be a drug addict. And then they like, we don't have any pictures of him doing drugs. And the only pictures that they had could have so easily been staged. And then, you know, she paints him out to be this jealous, angry guy. But then it's like you see her with multiple guys being very friendly and could have so easily gone further. I mean, you just think if you're that friendly, what you see on camera or in video, what are you doing in a situation where you're not on camera or in video? You would think being more free. But who knows? You know, like, or I guess, again, Johnny's team pointed out, like, James Franco came over at, like, almost 11 p.m. So it's like, I don't know. I guess that could just be their schedule. But this is what I'm saying. Like, you have to put so much, you have to constantly give her the benefit of the doubt. And then there's just so many things that are still just completely glaring. And so I think in my monkey mind, I thought delusionally I had a chance with that beautiful woman. And so I better talk nice. But then you just can't look past all of it. And then you realize, like, again, would you ever want to go through that? Like, no, like he's Johnny Depp and he fucking, Jesus Christ, what a mess. And then you think about Elon. I wondered why Joe was so sure so soon, Joe Rogan on the JRE. But then I was like, oh yeah, he knows Elon too. So maybe he called him and got some insight. I guess I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I thought everything she was saying was true. But, yeah. Another thing I thought was fascinating, like you think about like product placement and how like people pay for stuff like that. Like there was that first day back after the break of the trial where Johnny Depp right in front of him had that Starbucks coffee cup right to like it would be hit the left of his computer, the computer screen right in front of him. So it would be like right while you're looking at him, it'd be to the right. But you wonder like how much, because they ran like on some stations like 7.5 hours. Granted, some of it was breaks and stuff like that, but like 7.5 hours of content, sometimes even live streaming. And then that was there the whole time. Like how much would Starbucks have had to pay? Not that they have to. I mean, they're fucking everywhere and people wait in those ridiculous lines and pay those ridiculous prices every single day over and over again somehow. But, they don't necessarily need that, but think about the amount of networks and the amount of time. So 7.5 hours. And then even if you're not doing the full length, all the clips on those channels, all the clips on other content creators' channels, and just that Starbucks mermaid fucking front and center for any time they're showing Johnny Depp. I guess unless you crop it out, but if you just use, you know, what he was doing or use the actual clips, it's right there. Like, I wonder what the number is on that. You know what I mean? The number for if you actually wanted to just pay for product placement that was that exposed. Because I mean, the one fucking view stream I was watching had millions and millions of views after just hours. So then you think about, again, all the other people that were streaming it, all the other people that created clips, all the creators after that created clips or whatever. But Jesus, you know, the amount of money that you would have had to pay probably. I wonder what that number is. Isn't it probably some astronomical number? Again, they don't need to. You look on any street corner, anywhere people are walking, you're going to see those white cups anyway. But anyway, I like I said, I got a lot more to watch. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'd love to hear if you've been watching the trial, if you've been paying attention, if you had a positive view of Amber in the beginning, if you had a positive view of Amber at any time, if you were immediately aware of what the situation was. And again, I think the biggest telling situation for me was that recording where she was just laughing psychotically, and it's just like, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? No matter how you're painting yourself, no matter what you're saying, that's you. That's the fucking you he had to deal with, and he must have been the one recording, you would guess. So maybe that's why he was calm. But still, it sounded. It's funny. My theory. People like Joe Rogan was theorizing about like his accent and stuff during his fucking testimony, and my theory was like he was probably trying to sound like he did in all the videos. You know what I mean? Don't you think like he almost took it like a role? Like they'd be like, okay, these are all the clips that have been submitted into evidence. These are all the clips that might be submitted into evidence. This is what you're going to sound like to all those people. So this is what you should sound like on the stand. And he's just like the best actor ever. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to act like that. That's the accent I'm going to use. Even though he had a prescription to opiates at one time. You know what I mean? I think that there was some bad times, but I think she grossly overstated a lot of it, and even a lot of the things she tried to paint him as were clearly not only were not true, but there was evidence that they weren't true. Or maybe there was a granular truth, but the evidence really points in the opposite direction, overwhelmingly. So yeah, interesting to see if you guys felt the same way. Interested to see at what point did you kind of have your mind made up, and what things were just like a surprising for you or telling for you. And I'm sure we'll end up talking about it more because, like I said, I want to catch up. I still want to see Johnny's trial testimony. I still want to see all these other people that they mentioned that I haven't seen. I'd be curious to see how that all plays out, but we should talk about it more next week. And you guys should leave comments and send me an email. If you don't know, it is ethanyoungpodcast@gmail.com. I am Ethan R. Young on Instagram. We are just the Ethan Young channel here on YouTube. And I've been Ethan Young for you. And I look forward to chatting with you again next week. I thank you for tuning in. I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel. I hope that you'll like this video. I hope that you'll tune in again. And I hope that you'll... That's it. That's all I got. Love ya. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.